We're making meatballs, and they're wrapped in bacon. Thick slabs of bacon, and they're called Moink balls. Welcome to the Salt and Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today's recipe is for an appetizer. Super easy to do. You can make it a ton of different ways, but I'm gonna use the Woodfire smoker to smoke the meatballs. That is traditionally how they are made. But if you don't have a smoker, no worries. You can bake them in the oven, and I'll give those instructions on my website, thesaltandpepper.com. So I think the most fun thing about Moink balls is just saying them. Hey, would you like a Moink ball? I mean, it's like, what are Moink balls, right? Well, they are part pork, part beef. So you want to start out with 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef or ground chuck. Whatever you want to use is up to you. I mean, you could technically switch it up for turkey if you wanted to, but it's not going to have the fat content. And we're smoking these, at least I am going to for this video. And so that's a kind of a drier heat, a little longer of a process. So I think the 80/20 is really the best choice here with ground beef. All right, now let's get in our ingredients. What you add, how you make your meatballs, it's completely up to you. I mean, you could make an Italian style meatball, anything you want, but I'm using a barbecue style of meatball. So I'm using my Beginner's Luck barbecue rub, which you can find the recipe on my website, and I will link to that below. And it is just a simple sweet heat type of barbecue rub, and I'm using 1 tablespoon. And then I'm gonna add in 1 large egg, 1/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs. That's kind of the binder to help hold the meatballs together. And I do want to make a note that usually I'll say you could add in oatmeal if you wanted, or even bread, like cubes of bread. Some people do that with a little milk. In this recipe, I don't recommend it. I recommend either using finely crushed crackers or finely ground breadcrumbs, because when I tried it with oatmeal, they were just a little too dense. They didn't have the right consistency, in my opinion. So just use breadcrumbs or crackers and you'll be happy. And then I have 1.5 tablespoons of a barbecue sauce. I'm using my 10-minute barbecue sauce. You could use whatever barbecue sauce you love, okay? And then we're just gonna mix it up and then make up our meatballs. All right, the easiest way to mix up meatballs, I mean, you could get out your stand mixer if you wanted and use the paddle attachment and do it that way, but it's just as easy to use your clean hand. We're just gonna mix this meat up a little bit here to get all those flavors incorporated. Now, I have made this recipe so many times, I don't need to do a test of it, but if you're making it for the first time, or you're using different seasonings, or you're using, a different barbecue sauce, everything will affect the flavor. So, my barbecue rub might be a little sweeter, yours might be a little saltier. So everything will affect the flavor. What I recommend doing is breaking off, once you have it mixed up like this, break off a small amount and then throw it into a hot skillet, fry it off till it's cooked through, then taste it for seasonings. Then you know your meatballs are gonna be delicious. Now remember, we've got the bacon, and we're also gonna put a little more rub on the bacon after we wrap the meatball, so that will add another little bit of salt to it. So we don't want the meatballs overly seasoned, but you do want them perfectly seasoned. To make the meatballs, I'm gonna use a scoop. You can use anything you want, but you want about 2 tablespoons of meat mixture per meatball, okay? That is the size that works the best, I found. So I just take out 1 scoop, because this is 2 tablespoons, and then put it right down on my tray. I'm just gonna scoop them all out first, kind of do this like an assembly line, scoop them all out, then I roll them, and then I wrap them, and then we get them on the smoker. Now, also, this recipe is a really good make-ahead recipe. So you can make it 2 to 3 days before you want to serve it, and then just get it out of the refrigerator, because they can just sit covered in the refrigerator, and then bake them up or smoke them up. And you can also make them up and freeze them. I don't see why not. That wouldn't work. I've never tried that, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. Just let them thaw all the way before you cook them. The next thing, the bacon. I have tried this with thick cut bacon and thin cut bacon, because my thinking was thin cut bacon is gonna render better, it's gonna be crispier, but guess what? It was not. thick cut all the way. So I definitely recommend using thick cut bacon. I'm using Applewood smoked because we're gonna use Applewood pellets. I like that combination, but you could use cherry. I've done cherry pellets and cherry smoked bacon. They were delicious. So anything you like will be fine. So you want 9 pieces of bacon and you want to have about 9 toothpicks. Because we're gonna break the toothpicks in half. I'm really frugal. I learned that from my mom. So instead of using 1 full toothpick in each meatball, we're gonna break them in half. So you only need 9. We have 18 meatballs. We need 9 toothpicks, 9 slabs of bacon cut in half, 18 pieces. Simple math. Okay. All right, to start assembling them, you also wanna have about 2 to 3 tablespoons of your favorite barbecue rub, or you can whip up mine. The recipe, again, is linked below. It's on my website. And you wanna take each meatball, just kind of roll it around into a little ball, and then take a half of a piece of bacon and wrap it around and secure it with half of a toothpick, which usually I break these all in half before I get started, but I didn't today. So just secure it right through there. And there we go. Now we have our Moink ball. And then what I like to do is top it with a little bit of the barbecue rub and then set it right down and repeat for all the rest of them. All right, so let's get the wood fire fired up with some Applewood pellets. We are gonna smoke on 275 degrees for about an hour. Now that's gonna raise the temperature of these meatballs up into the 170s, 180s, but that is fine. We need that higher heat. We need that longer cook time to render all the fat from the bacon and make it nice and crispy. Here we go, delicious Moink balls. Now, let them cool for just a minute or two and then remove the toothpicks. Very, very important. You don't want your guests to bite into a toothpick. So you can serve them as is. You could top them with a little barbecue sauce, serve some barbecue sauce on the side, or you could put a little rub on, whatever you want to do. It's going to be delicious. So the bacon has rendered so nicely. It's like candied bacon. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, so good. Here we go. Wow, that is so delicious. It is not dry at all, even though we brought the temperature of the meatballs up to above 200 degrees, which is necessary to get the bacon where we need it to be. It is so, so perfect. Let me try it with a little bit of barbecue sauce. Even better.